ESPN has been hemorrhaging viewers, millions and millions of them in recent years. The question is why?
On November 20th of 2012, ESPN signed a television rights contract that allowed them to carry the rights of the first and following 11 college football playoffs. Also included in the contract is the rights to branded content, which includes a weekly show that reveals the committee's rankings, as well as a final selection show where TV hosts and analysts share the bowl schedule and their insight for the remaining year. This coming at a hefty price of $5.64 billion, with an annual cost of about $470 million. Unfortunately for ESPN, this was not the only contract of that magnitude. They pay around $2 billion a year for NFL's Monday Night Football, $1.5 billion a year to the NBA, and another $700 million to the MLB, and hundreds of millions of more just to college football alone. This meant every single cable and satellite subscriber in the country was paying for an average of $30 a year for the NBA, whether they were watching the games or not. And the same principle goes for the NFL and MLB as well. But for ESPN, these contracts don't seem to be paying off, as there has been a sharp decrease in viewership. As you can see from the graph provided by Business Insider, ESPN has now lost about 20 million viewers since 2011, which is when they peaked at 100 million. A pretty sharp decrease considering their success for so long. But why could this be? And what has caused ESPN to lay off hundreds of employees in the past year? The past 2 years, ESPN has taken it upon themselves to include not just sports content, but political content as well. Jason Whitlock, a former ESPN employee and TV personality, thinks the same.
Well, again, when you get distracted by politics, and in this case, ESPN, it's progressive politics, the network lost track of who its core audience is. Again, sports culture in a non-political way is very conservative. Very conservative. The values taught in sports, I grew up a college football player, I grew up an athlete my entire life. From Little League on, the values instilled in you from sports are conservative in a non-political way.
And Whitlock is right. If you look at this graph of ESPN viewership provided by YoungGov.com, you can clearly see a decline in the conservative viewership, while the blue has generally stayed consistent. The majority of viewers of ESPN are conservative, maybe politically or maybe just in a sports sense, but it's very clear that they aren't supporting ESPN. And this type of behavior isn't hard to find. In April of 2017, Linda Cohn, a SportsCenter anchor, was suspended for saying that she didn't believe that ESPN was the place for politics, and added that ESPN, quote, definitely overpaid for these products in terms of the NBA, NFL, and college football playoff contracts. Unfortunately for Cohn, she was told by ESPN CEO John Skipper, who reportedly called and yelled at her, that she needs to stay at home rather than come to work so that she can think about what she said. However, in September of 2017, host of SportsCenter 6 Jamil Hill came out and publicly said that Donald Trump was a white supremacist, that Trump was only elected president because he was white and had the support of racists, and that Trump's administration, the cabinet of which features a black man, an Indian woman, an Asian woman, and multiple Jewish people, were all largely white supremacists. This was said in a series of tweets that have since been deleted. Jamil Hill received a short suspension and still hosts a SportsCenter 6 show. But this is what viewers are sick of, bringing politics to a place where it isn't warranted. And although politics may seem like the reason ESPN is going under, it isn't the ultimate reason. It is merely a factor that helps speed up the process. What killed ESPN is the fact that they paid billions of dollars in TV rights when they thought viewers would be watching every single game. They turned to politics as a way to spice things up and help boost those dwindling ratings, but ultimately, it didn't work.